Om Namo
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we wanted to continue with the series on the Devatas as part of the Sanatana Dharma course. Today we want to look at Lord Siva, extremely powerful personality. Who is he? Okay, so Lord Krishna is identified by Guru Sadhu Shastra as a supreme personality of Godhead. He is also the source of all material and spiritual worlds. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 8 of chapter 10, where he says, Aham Sarvasva Prabhavo, I am the source of the spiritual material worlds. When Lord Krishna wants to be in touch with this material world, he transforms into Shiva. The Lord's glance wakes up material nature. This is as simple as it is. This is as simple as it is. When Krishna, when the Supreme Lord wants to touch this world, he becomes transformed into Shiva. Vishnu or Krishna never touches this world. But when he has a reason to do so, that reason becomes Shiva. He transforms into Shiva. So Shiva Tattva is very hard to understand, but this is the absolute essence of Shiva Tattva. The absolute essence. If we can just understand that the Lord's potency, when in touch with this world, is Shiva. So he's same as Vishnu, but also different at the same time, because he's in touch with this world. A lot of people have difficulty understanding the position of Lord Shiva. Some people claim that he's a supreme, some people claim that he's a ordinary demigod, but he's neither. He's neither. He has a category of his own, Shiva Tattva. So a little bit more explanation. Just like milk and yogurt, though milk and yogurt are essentially non-different, they're both milk products, right? Yogurt is a product of milk. One can use milk to make ghee, cheese, ice cream, or paneer rather, or yogurt, but one cannot turn yogurt back into milk. So this is the point. Milk is like Vishnu or Krishna. When you add a curding agent to milk, it becomes yogurt. So when you add the material world to Vishnu, it becomes Shiva. Shiva can't turn back into Vishnu, but Vishnu can turn into Shiva. That's the only difference. But essentially, they're one and the same person. But they're different at the same time. And this is explained.
Prabhuji?
Yes.
So
yes,
once Lord Shiva's work is over, he remains as Shiva.
He remains as Shiva. He remains as Shiva. No, not necessarily.
No.
Because there is a Sadashiva aspect. This is where the complications start. Good question. Because there is the Supreme Lord is also Sadashiva, who is not impacted by the material world. So when the material world is destroyed, finished, completely destroyed at the end of Brahma's life, Lord, this material Shiva, this Lord Shiva who is in this material world, again merges with the
Sadashiva.
Vishnu Shiva. Yes, Sadashiva. He's no longer. He's no longer. And then when again Vishnu starts the creation process, and then his glance over material nature wakes up the material nature, that glance becomes Shiva. So again, Shiva again becomes manifest. And then at the end of the universe, again, is merged into the original Sadashiva. Good question, Naniman. Good question. So this is that okay, Naniman?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is from the Brahma Samhita. So the example we just gave of the milk and yogurt is from the scriptures. Shiram yatha dhati vikara vishesha yogat Sanjayate nahi tatha prathagastu hetu yam yasham bhutam apitatha samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Just as milk is transformed into curd by the actions of acid, and yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, milk, because they're both milk products, but milk is different from yogurt. So I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a manifestation, is a transformation, for the performance of work of destruction. So this very example is given in the scriptures. So theologically, Shiva is both God, and yet he's different from God as well. This is why Shiva Tattva is so hard to understand. He's one with God, but he's also different at the same time. Because of Shiva's intimate contact with this material world, especially the quality of ignorance, the souls in this world may not receive the same spiritual restoration by worshiping as by worshipping Vishnu. So this is one of the points. Shiva may not be able to give liberation, may not be able to give. But if one passes away in Varanasi, Shiva will come and recite the name of Ram into the air, into the ears of his devotee. So in that way, Shiva is the conduit for the devotee to go to the spiritual world because of hearing the name of Ram. Shiva holds the keys to leave this material world. And Krishna holds the keys, or Ram holds the keys for the soul to enter the spiritual world. So this is quite an interesting distinction. Shiva can let us out, but only Krishna can let us in. In the spiritual world. Okay. Lord Shiva's devotees are generally of three types. This is a bit of a generalization. The ghosts, the hobblings, the demons. And the reason for this is because Shiva is very kind. He's very merciful. He doesn't look at the quality of the person who follows him. He'll let anybody follow him. This is the kindness, compassion. Who others have completely abandoned, Shiva will give them shelter. This is the beauty of Lord Shiva, the generosity, the magnanimity of this incredible person. The yogis and the tapasvis, they also may have Shiva as their deity. Those who want material possessions, because Shiva is known as Ashutosh. He easily can be pleased. So some devotees will pray to him, please give me something. And he will just give without seeing if it's going to benefit or not. He's known as Ashutosh. So position of Shiva in the Trinity, we know, right? Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Lord Shiva is superior to Brahma, who is an empowered soul. Like Brahma is an ordinary jiva, but very powerful. But Shiva is not quite on the same level of Vishnu. So this is, from Krishna comes Balaram, then we got the quadruple expansion, we got Narayan, another quadruple, and then we have Mahavishnu. And here is Mahavishnu. I think Shyam Malini, you were one day asking, what does Mahavishnu look like? This is Karana Dakshay Mahavishnu. He's just lying on the ocean. And when he breathes out, millions of universes come out of the pores of his skin. And in every universe, he enters as Garbhadakshay Vishnu, from whom Lord Brahma is born. And then there is the third Vishnu, who is Shiradakshay Vishnu, who expands himself as Paramatma, expands himself into each and every living entity in this material world. So he accompanies us throughout our life here. So this Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva are the Trinity. Brahma is an ordinary soul like us. Shiva is a distinct category, and Vishnu is a supreme. So let's have a look at how those differences are analyzed. the number of qualities possessed, in essence, these are, of course, there are more qualities than this, but in essence, 50 qualities define a jiva. 55 qualities define Shiva. So he's got an extra 5 qualities. Extra 5 qualities will be Vishnu. So Vishnu is superior. And then Krishna himself has an extra 4 qualities which distinguish him from anybody else. It is therefore said Lord Shiva is a unique living being who merits his own category known as Shiva Tattva. Shiva has his own abode in Mount Kailash beyond this world. His abode is Shiva Lok, between material world and Vaikuntha. So we'll see that. This is Kailash within this world. This is Lord Shiva, who's always in meditation. Right. So here we go. There's the there's the material world, Brahmajyoti, Kailash, and then we have the Vaikuntha planets. Shiva is one of the Gunavatas in charge of the mode of ignorance, Tamagun. He's in charge of Tamagun. And at the appropriate time, he will destroy the universes by his sweet dancing as Nataraj. He's famously known as Nataraj because of his dance at the time of destruction. Lord Shambhu, Shiva, is regarded as the greatest amongst the devotees of Lord Vishnu. His name is also called, this is a very famous term in the Bhagavatam, Vaishnav Nam Yatha Shambhu. He's the greatest devotee because he's always in meditation. Who is he meditating on? He's meditating on Supreme Lord Shankarshan. He has many names. Sadashiva, Shambhu. Sadashiva means one who resides between the mature and spiritual worlds. Shambhu, auspicious. Shiva, auspicious. Nataraj, the king of dancers. Rudra, enraged form of Shiva. Dakshinamurti, the yogic form of Shiva. Vishwanath, Lord of the universe. Mahadev, chief of the demigods. He's the topmost personality. Shankar, giver of knowledge. So when Sankaracharya came 1500 years ago, he's an incarnation of Shiva. Nilakant, the blue throat due to him holding the poison there, which came from the churning of the ocean of nectar. Bolanath, simple. Ashutosh, easily pleased. Beautiful names. Worship of Shiva is the most widely worshipped deity, one of the most widely worshipped deities. Pretty much every corner of Bharat, Lord Shiva is worshipped, Shivling is worshipped. And there are many Jyotirlings around Bharat. I think there's 12 main Jyotirlings around Bharat. The Shiv Puran describes the origin of the lingam as the beginningless and endless cosmic pillar, stamba of fire, the cause of all causes. So this is a Shivling. I have to say, I'm not very familiar with the Shivling, except on occasion when we go to Bharat, we go to a temple where we offer some milk to the linga. And here on the 18th of February, we are also holding Shivratri, where we will be bathing Lord Shiva, this linga form of the Lord. The major 12 Jyotirling Shivas of India, such as Varanasi and Somnath, are particularly frequented on Mahashivratri. Varanasi or Banaras is considered to be the city especially loved by Shiva and is one of the holiest places of pilgrimage in India. So this is Varanasi, Vishwanath temple, very famous, very beautiful temple. Often his worshippers pray to Lord Shiva to gain material wealth. It's almost like a business transaction. I worship you, you give me. It's not necessarily regarded as selfless devotion. According to Vaishnavas, the authorized method of worship of Shiva is described by the Rudra Sampradaya, also known as the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, an authorized Vaishnava lineage started by Shiva himself, in which Shiva is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Vishnu. He's bathed with milk and bell patra leaves. His qualities is very kind, compassionate. He gives shelter to those who everyone else has rejected. Sometimes he visits the cemeteries to collect these souls who have been rejected. He gives them shelter. He's very kind. This is really interesting picture. So many people, devotees are putting milk on the linga, and Lord Shiva himself is giving milk to a needy person. Humility, very humble, because he is also the gatekeeper of many holy places. He's very easily pleased. He's known as Ashutosh. This is a demon. I can't remember his name now. Vrikasura, I think. Was it something like that? Something like that. And his method of worship was very cruel, nasty, austere. He was cutting his flesh and offering it in the fire. And he wanted to have darshan of Shiva, but Shiva wouldn't come. Eventually, he was going to cut his own neck and offer it to the fire. Shiva came at that time, asked him, "What are you doing, you fool? What do you want?" And he said, "Whoever's head I touch, they must immediately explode." So this is the worship in the mode of ignorance, which is destructive to yourself, destructive to others. This is austerity to be avoided. And Shiva is easily pleased. He granted it. Yes, okay, no problem. And the demon, he went after Shiva first, trying to touch his head. Oh, sorry, Prabhabin? Yes, did you have... Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is this devotee's name is Bakasur? Is that right, or is it me wrong?
I don't think
Bakasur.
it's Bakasur.
No, it's not Bakasur, no. It's a Vakrasur or something like that.
Bakrasur.
Vakrasur.
Vrittasur. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I remember you said the story
Before, yeah.
year. So I remember that. Anyway, carry on. Thank you.
Anyway, he tried to touch Shiva's head, but Shiva, he knew this boon was correct. It's okay, he ran for it. Then eventually he went to Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu said to Vakasura, "Don't be foolish. Look at this fellow, Lord Shiva. He's dressed in deer skin. He's got ashes all over him. He can't give you a benediction like this. Just touch your own head, you'll see." And he touched his own head and he killed himself. He exploded. Very peaceful. He's constantly meditating on the Lord. Lord Shiva is very, very peaceful. This is really, really nice deity. He's impartial. He sees good in others, he ignores the bad qualities. Even Lord Ram worshipped Shiva because Shiva is his very devotee. So the Lord is very humble. As humble the devotee is, the Lord is even more humbler. So the Lord he wants to worship his devotee because his devotees are worshipable. Even the Lord wants to worship them. So when Ram came, he worshipped Shiva in order to destroy Ravan. He's the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. Vaishnav Nam Yatha Shambhu. He has a special relationship with Krishna. Shiva holds the keys to get us out of this material world. Krishna holds the keys to get into the material spiritual world. Yes, Nadiman?
No, sorry, Prabhuji.
Okay, no problem. Lord Shiva is Shankaracharya. So there are 12 great authorities in preaching Krishna consciousness. Shiva is one of them. His disciplic succession is known as the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, or also known as the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. Lord Shiva appeared as Sankaracharya 686 AD, so about 1500 years ago, to preach Mayavad philosophy. That was in order to counteract Buddhism, which we've talked about recently. However, even though he was promoting the formless aspect of God, many bhajans he has done which indicate the beautiful personality of Godhead. There's so many bhajans, and Karuna has sang so many of them. Especially there's one at the end of his pastime on earth. He preached, he wrote and he sang, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Mudamate. Oh fool, just worship Govinda. He says it not once, he says it 3 times. So when you say something 3 times, it emphasizes the importance. Lord Shiva appeared in this world due to the anger of Lord Brahma. So that's the incarnation of Rudra. Rudra came in that form. So Brahma, he was requested by Lord Vishnu to create, to populate the universe. So he created firstly the 4 Kumaras who didn't want to procreate. Then he created, and from that anger, because they angered Brahma so much, from that anger was born the incarnation of Rudra. Shiva is married to Parvati and has 2 sons called Ganesh and Kartika. This is a family photo of this most incredible family. He received Ganga on his head when she flowed from the spiritual world. And thanks to him, we can have the darshan of Ganga and bathe in the Ganga. So she was flowing from the spiritual world through the heavens. And she didn't want to come to earth. But Bhagirath, he persuaded her, don't worry, Shiva will break your fall. And he did. He caught her in his hair. As Lord Shiva is Ganga, is Bhagirath, Parvati, Nandi. So we talked about this, how Lord Ramachandra even worships his own devotees. One time in Krishna Leela, Lord Shiva came to have darshan of Krishna. But he looked so unruly that Yashodamai wouldn't let him in. And Krishna started crying. And Purnamasi, she asked Yashodamai, why is your baby crying so much? Have you stopped somebody seeing him? Yes, some crazy fellow came. He wanted to have darshan of Krishna. I said, no. This is Yashodamai, so powerful. She can refuse Lord Shiva. And Purnamasi said, no, that person is a great soul. So they went and got him. And immediately Krishna stopped crying and gave darshan to Shiva. Special relationship. Lord Shiva wanted to experience the Ras Leela of Krishna with the gopis. And he wasn't allowed in, except they made a concession. They asked Tulsi Devi to bathe him, and he became Gopeshwar. Only males, only females are allowed in the Ras dance, apart from Krishna. As Gopeshwar, he became female. And he was allowed to enter the Ras Leela. And Krishna danced with Shiva. Everybody was wondering, who is this new gopi? Especially Radharani was a little jealous. So Krishna said to Radharani, don't you recognize this? This is Don't you recognize? There's a half moon there. Can you recognize who she is? He's got Rudrak's beads around him. Don't you recognize him? Then Radharani realized, oh, that's Shiva. And this is a wonderful temple in Vrindavan, Gopeshwar Mahadev. And one of the protectors, Lord Shiva acts as a protector of the Dhams. So one of the protectors, he's there in Vrindavan. And every day, the Shivling is dressed as a gopi, as Gopeshwar. Beautiful saris and so many different decorations are made. Every evening he's dressed as gopi. And this is one of the deities of Gopeshwar in Vrindavan. As Advaitacharya, he forced Chaitanya to appear on earth. So Advaitacharya is incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Shiva and spent 3 days together with him. This is one of the places in the Kailash. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there. He became very attracted to the Mohini Murti form of the Lord, the female incarnation of God. He became very attracted. So this shows the Maya of Supreme Lord is so powerful, even attracts Shiva. And there's many pastimes in the Bhagavatam about Lord Shiva's pastimes with Daksha, who offended him. And his daughter, Daksha's daughter Sati, committed suicide. And Shiva became very angry and defeated Daksha. His people defeated Daksha. And then he replaced Daksha's head with a goat's head, brought him back to life, and humbled Daksha. How he also preached to the Pachetas, who were 10,000 brothers who were doing severe austerities. And Shiva glorifies the name of Ram. He explains to Parvati in the Vishnu Sahasranam that at Kashi, when somebody dies, they are liberated. So many people go to die there. Lord Shiva explains that because he's always chanting the name of Ram and Vayu spreads the name, everywhere in Kashi, people are liberated. Also, it's explained in the Vishnu Sahasranam that Shiva explains to Parvati that if you chant the name of Vishnu 1,000 times, it's the same as chanting the name of Ram 3 times. So Ram, Ram, Ram. That's like chanting 1,000 names of Vishnu. And chanting Krishna's name once is like chanting Ram's name 3 times. So Krishna's name once is also equal to 3,000 names of Vishnu. So we can say Krishna, and that's like Vishnu, 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 3,000 times. Ganesh is worshipped first before any auspicious activity because he won the race amongst the demigods by circulating Ram's name 3 times. So this is another wonderful pastime. There's different versions of this pastime. This is one of them. And incredibly, they have an incredible family. Shiva, Parvati, Ganesh, Kartikeya, but they never fight because of the name of, they always chant the name of Ram. Why do they have such a amazing family? Which, sometimes you wonder why they don't having battles with each other. Because Parvati's carrier is a lion. Lions don't get on with bulls. They try to kill them. Lord Shiva's carrier is a bull. Nandi. This is Durga Mata or Parvati Devi's carrier, the lion. And if you think Ganesh's carrier is a mouse, but Shiva has snakes around his neck. And Kartikeya has a peacock as his carrier who eats snakes. So how the family stays together is because of Ram. Quite extraordinary. Difference between the worshippers of Shiva and Vishnu. Shaivites, they wear their tilak across the forehead. Vaishnavas wear their tilak usually down on the forehead. Vaishnavas, Shaivites believe the world is an illusion. This is part of the Sankaracharya's philosophy. This world is an illusion. But Vaishnavas believe this world is real. It does exist, but it's temporary. It doesn't last. That's the difference. Shaivites study Shiv Puran, Vaishnavas study Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Puran. Shaivites believe God has no form, they can merge with God. But Vaishnavas believe that the ultimate form of God is personal, and we are God's servants. Some Shaivites smoke bhanga, and cover themselves with ashes. But Vaishnavas, they follow the rules, 4 rules. So how do Vaishnavas observe Shivratri? The Shaivites, they fast. And they fast all night. They stay up all night singing bhajans of Shiva. But the Vaishnavas, Guru Sadhu Shastra advised that we honor Lord Shiva as the greatest devotee. Nand Maharaj and Brijbasis would sometimes go to a temple in Gujarat to observe Maha Shivratri. Their mood was to pray for the welfare of Krishna, to pray to be more attached to Krishna. Similarly, gopis would approach Katyani Devi and Lord Shiva to have as their husband. So our mood when we're worshipping Shiva or we are praying to Shiva is, please help us get closer to Krishna, because you're already close. You're the greatest. Help us to also become close to your Lord. Srila Prabhupada approved the worship of Shiva in the right mood, not as God, but as a devotee. Advaitacharya is an incarnation of Shiva, and as member of Panchatattva, we worship daily. Fasting on Mahashivratri is optional. Some do Ekadasi fast. Shiva and Parvati would often be discussing Bhagavad Puran. One of the first times Bhagavad Puran was discussed was between Shiva and Parvati. And Bhagavad Puran is all about Lord Vishnu. So that's all I wanted to say about Lord Shiva. There's a lot of information. There's a lot more as well we can share. But Surinder, anything you'd like to share?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Interesting katha.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Nitai Gaura Haribol. Yes, many pastimes of Lord Shiva Prabhu in Srimad Bhagavatam, and very instructive for us to follow. And sometimes Lord Shiva pastimes, we are learning from him, like he's showing sometimes in his lila in a negative role, and sometimes in a positively he's instructing us. So one such in a negative role, he in his pastimes was like the one time, like in an assembly, he sat Uma, his wife, in his lap, and he's embracing in front of the sages and the demigods, and in public like that. And then King Chitraketu was traveling in his aeroplane, and he saw this, he had this darshan of Lord Shiva and Uma in this way, intimate way. And then King Chitraketu, he laughed and he made some bad comment. So there is both ways, like Lord Shiva and Uma in this intimacy in public. That was in a negative role, teaching us that we should not do this intimacy in public like that. And even like Chitraketu Prabhu is a great devotee, he's a great Vaishnava as well. And he also made a mistake in the sense that he laughed and made a bad comments upon seeing Lord Shiva and Uma in a very intimate way. So there are two ways to understand, like Lord Shiva's Leela with Uma in intimacy in public. This is showing us that we should not imitate Lord Shiva and Parvati. Just like many devotees of Lord Shiva, they try to imitate Lord Shiva's activities. That's why they say they can take bhang and they cover their body with ashes. But as Lord Shiva, he drank an ocean of poison. We cannot drink even a drop of poison. We will be dead. So we cannot actually imitate Lord Shiva, but we can follow his instructions and his teachings. Even his teachings in a negative role, he's teaching us we should learn properly the proper teaching. So in this way, then we should not behave like that in public. Intimacy must be only in our privacy of our in the bedroom. Yes. For the Vaishnavas, we need to take this example. So sometimes, for example, this may happen among Vaishnavas as well. One time we went to have a Hare Krishna program in Italy with the devotees. And then we were going on a Nagar Sankirtan, like chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the street in Italy. And one of the couple, Vaishnava couple from UK, they were doing this intimacy on the street, you understand, kissing and all that. So I remember these pastimes of Lord Shiva's, and therefore we should understand that such behavior is not appropriate for Vaishnavas. Public, it should be in the intimacy of one's bedroom in privacy. Another side of it is Chitraketu Prabhu. He laughed and made bad comments at Lord Shiva's behavior. Is that he could have addressed this issue in a Ishtagosti, in a private room somewhere, in a privacy somewhere when he's alone, not to ridicule or blaspheme or offend Lord Shiva and Parvati in front of public like that. And even by laughing, we should be careful, like laughing, we can commit offense by laughing. Not laugh at the Vaishnavas, like make bad comments. So we are learning from this from King Chitraketu. And Uma or Parvati, she became upset on hearing the comments of King Chitraketu, and she cursed King Chitraketu. Next life, you will be born in the body of a demon, and hence King Chitraketu became Vritasura. But still, he was the heart and mood of a Vaishnava, but in the body of a demon called Vritasura. Anyhow, so such all the teachings we needed to be mindful and not to commit Vaishnava aparad, not to offer Vaishnavas and ridicule them, etc., especially not in public. He could have addressed this in Ishtagosti, like one-to-one conversation with Lord Shiva, say, you're a great Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yatha Sambhu, please don't do it like that in public, etc. That would be the most appropriate way, and not like committing offense in public like that. And same way in Gaura Lila, there is the Lila of Gauranga Mahaprabhu with the Digvijay Pandit, Keshava Kashmiri. So the verse follows like that. Sloka Ganga Vandanartha Digjigi Shubhashitam Vyachalankritadi Dosha Tarkitartha Dhushitam Dhvasta Yukti Rudha Buddhi Data Dhima Dhadharam Premadham Devam Eva Nomi Gaura Sundaram. So in short, like after defeating the great Pandit, Digvijay Pandit Keshava Kashmiri, then the students of Gauranga Mahaprabhu who were present, they laughed at the great Pandit. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu stopped them from laughing and disrespecting the great Pandit Keshava Kashmiri. As Gauranga Mahaprabhu has emphasized in his teaching, Trinadapi Sunichana Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadari. We should practice to be humble, tolerant, respectful, and do not expect honor in return. So in this way, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is teaching us, and even while laughing, we should be careful not to commit offense to Vaishnavas. Nitai Gaura Haribol Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good share. Anybody, Prabhu, anything you'd like to share?
Not much, because I was happily listening.
Yeah, it's good.
The other Prabhuji, very nice.
Yeah,
Yes,
very
he said lot of it. I mean,
very
we can understand it, what he was saying. It was very good. Only one thing I can tell, that Siva wanted to go and play the ras, and became the gopi. And I think in other one, sorry, not Shiv Puran, it says that he asked Parvati that he wanted to go, and then Parvati said, okay, I will dress you as a gopi. And then he went and played the ras.
Yeah, right.
So this much I remember, but the other Prabhuji said a lot of it, which was very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody
Hare
else? Anything else? Anybody would like to share or ask?
Prabhu, I want to ask, okay, because I
Yes.
always get confused.
Of
I
course.
know you said when the Lord wants to touch the earth, then he comes as Sadashiv.
He comes as Shiva. Yeah.
Yeah, Shiva. Sadashiv, yeah? Sadashiv?
Sadashiv is, you could say Sadashiv is the sort of the spiritual part, the Vishnu Tattva, which is not contaminated in any single way by association with the material modes. So you could say Sadashiv is that level. Yeah.
But here on earth, Lord Shiva resides here as well, on Kailash.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct. His place is Kailash in this world.
In this world.
In this world.
So that you said he goes to the crematorium.
Oh yeah, but he goes just because he lives in one place, it doesn't mean he's confined there. He can go.
Yeah, I get very confused. So that means he travels everywhere.
Oh, he travels a lot, especially early morning. When we're asleep, Lord Shiva is watching. You know, if we're asleep early morning, he'll be not too pleased, because he's always, although he's Ashutosh, he's pleased, he can get angry quickly as well.
All right.
So yeah, we've got to be a little careful, because he'll be traveling early morning, watching, hey, who's asleep?
I'm sure I'm on the list.
No, I'm sure you're not.
Me, same. I'm still sleeping about 6:30.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
Whoa. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, let's stop there. Lord Shiva ki jai. Stop.